Everyone, welcome back to the channel. We talk a lot about finding joy and laughter in everyday life, and one of the biggest joys, of course, is being a parent. But let's be honest, folks, parenting, it's not always sunshine and rainbows. It's tough. It can be beautiful and rewarding, absolutely, but it can also be overwhelming, exhausting, and sometimes even lonely. So today, we're getting real about the mental well-being of parents. We're talking about the pressures, the stress, and the importance of asking for help. Being a mom or a dad, it's like the most important job in the world, right? You bring a new life into this world and suddenly you're responsible for this tiny human being. It's a role filled with love, joy, and countless precious moments. But it's also a role that comes with immense pressure and stress. But here's the thing, nobody gives you a handbook, no training manual. You might read all the books, attend all the classes, and still feel completely unprepared. Each child is unique, and what works for one might not work for another. It's a constant learning curve. You just kind of get thrown into the deep end and hope for the best. Every day brings new challenges, from sleepless nights to endless crying, and you often feel like you're just trying to keep your head above water. It's a relentless cycle of feeding, changing, and soothing. You're juggling sleepless nights, figuring out how to soothe a crying baby, making a million decisions a day, all while trying to keep tiny humans alive and thriving. And it's not just about keeping them alive. You want them to be happy, healthy, and well-adjusted. The stakes feel incredibly high. It's a lot. The exhaustion can be overwhelming. You find yourself running on fumes, trying to function on minimal sleep. Coffee becomes your best friend, and you start to wonder if you'll ever feel rested again. The physical and emotional toll is significant. And then you add in the pressure from, well, everywhere. Society, social media, maybe even your own family. Everyone has an opinion on how you should raise your child, and it can be overwhelming. You start to question your own instincts and decisions. Suddenly, you're comparing yourself to these picture-perfect families online, and you start feeling like you're not doing enough, not being enough. Social media can create an unrealistic standard of parenting, making you feel inadequate and stressed. And the truth is, a lot of parents are feeling this way. It's important to remember that you're not alone. Many parents are struggling with the same feelings of inadequacy and stress. Finding a support system, whether it's friends, family, or a parenting group, can make a huge difference. Sharing your experiences and hearing others' stories can be incredibly validating and comforting. We joke about mom brain and dad jokes, but the reality is, parenting stress can be really serious. When you're constantly on, constantly giving, and constantly feeling like you're falling short, it takes a toll. It can lead to burnout, anxiety, even depression. And the scariest part? A lot of parents suffer in silence because they're afraid to talk about it. They think they're the only ones struggling, that they're failing somehow. But that's just not true. We need to break down the stigma around parental mental health. It's okay to not be okay, and it's more than okay to ask for help. Okay, can we talk about postpartum for a minute? Because for new moms especially, the pressure can feel insurmountable. Your body's going through all these crazy hormonal changes, you're sleep-deprived beyond belief, and you're figuring out this whole new human being that you're suddenly responsible for. It's a lot, and it's okay to admit that. Postpartum depression is real, it's common, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. If you're a new mom and you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or just plain down, please reach out to someone. Talk to your partner, your doctor, your friends, anyone you trust. You don't have to go through this alone. Chapter 4. Societal and peer pressure on parents. You know what doesn't help? Social media. It's a double-edged sword. On one hand, it connects us to a world of information and support. On the other, it bombards us with images and stories that can make us feel like we're not doing enough. Don't get me wrong, I love a good dancing baby video as much as the next person. Those moments of joy and laughter are precious. They remind us of the lighter side of parenting. But scrolling through those perfectly curated feeds, it's easy to start comparing yourself and feeling inadequate. You see those picture-perfect families and you wonder, why can't I have that? Oh, look at them. They have the perfect playroom, the perfect snacks, the perfect life. It's like they're living in a magazine spread. And their kids, they never seem to throw tantrums in public. They always look so well-behaved and calm. It's enough to make any parent feel like they're falling short. It's all a facade, people. What you don't see are the meltdowns, the sleepless nights, the moments of doubt and frustration. Every parent goes through it. Nobody's life is that perfect, no matter what their Instagram tells you. Behind every smiling photo, there's a story of struggle and perseverance. So let's all agree to be a little kinder to ourselves and to each other. Let's support one another, share our real stories, and lift each other up. Let's celebrate the messy, imperfect, beautiful reality of parenting. It's in those chaotic moments that we find true connection and love. Rather than striving for some unattainable ideal, let's embrace the journey with all its ups and downs. Because at the end of the day, it's the love and effort we put into our families that truly matter. Chapter 5. The Cost of Parental Burnout. Here's the thing about burnout. It doesn't just affect the parents, it affects the whole family. When parents are overwhelmed, it creates a ripple effect that touches everyone in the household. The stress and exhaustion can lead to more arguments, less patience, and a general sense of unease that children can easily pick up on. This can make the home environment tense and less nurturing, which is the opposite of what any parent wants for their family. When you're running on empty, it's harder to be present, to be patient, to be the best parent you can be. You might find yourself snapping at your kids over small things or feeling guilty because you can't muster the energy to engage with them the way you'd like. This can lead to a cycle of guilt and frustration where you feel bad for not being the parent you want to be, which only adds to your stress and burnout. And that's not your fault. It's important to remember that feeling this way doesn't mean you're a bad parent. It means you're human. We all have limits, and it's okay to acknowledge them. Seeking support from friends, family, or professional resources can make a huge difference. Sometimes, just talking about what you're going through can provide relief and help you feel less isolated. It's just that we all have limits, and when we push ourselves past those limits, something's gotta give. Trying to juggle too many responsibilities without adequate rest or support can lead to physical and emotional exhaustion. This is why it's crucial to recognize the signs of burnout early and take steps to address it before it becomes overwhelming. So, what can we do about it? There are several strategies that can help manage and prevent parental burnout. One of the first steps is to prioritize self-care. This might mean setting aside time each day for activities that recharge you, whether it's reading a book, going for a walk, or simply taking a few moments to breathe deeply. Additionally, seeking out resources like parenting workshops, self-help books, or support groups can provide valuable insights and coping strategies. Well, first of all, we need to acknowledge that parental burnout is a real thing. It's not just a phase or something that will go away on its own. By recognizing it as a legitimate issue, we can start to take it seriously and seek out the help we need. This might involve talking to a therapist, journaling to process your thoughts and feelings, or simply taking time to reflect on what you need to feel more balanced and supported. It's not just a matter of toughing it out or needing more coffee. While caffeine might give you a temporary boost, it's not a long-term solution. Addressing parental burnout requires a more holistic approach that includes physical, emotional, and mental self-care. This might mean making changes to your daily routine, setting boundaries to protect your time and energy, and finding ways to delegate tasks or ask for help when needed. It's a legitimate issue that deserves attention and support. By taking steps to address parental burnout, you can create a healthier, more balanced life for yourself and your family. Remember, it's okay to ask for help and to take time for yourself. In the long run, taking care of your own well-being will make you a better, more present parent for your children. Chapter 6. What can parents do? Alright, enough with the doom and gloom. Let's talk solutions. Because the good news is, there are things we can do to manage parental stress and prevent burnout. First and foremost, talk about it. Talk to your partner, your friends, a therapist, anyone who will listen. Just getting those feelings out in the open can make a world of difference. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Whether it's asking a friend to watch the kids for an hour so you can take a nap or hiring a babysitter so you can have a date night. It's okay to rely on your village. Chapter 7. A call for change. We live in a society that puts so much pressure on parents, especially moms. It's time to change the narrative. It's time to stop glorifying the super parent who does it all and start celebrating the real, messy, perfectly imperfect parents we all are. Let's create a culture where it's okay to admit you're struggling, where asking for help is seen as a sign of strength, not weakness, and where parents feel supported, not judged. Chapter 8, a message to parents. So, to all the parents out there juggling work, kids, relationships, and everything in between, I see you. I hear you. And I want you to know that you're doing amazing. You're enough. Even on the tough days, even when you feel like you're barely holding it together, you're doing the best you can. And that's all that matters. Don't be afraid to give yourself some grace, to prioritize your own well-being, and to ask for help when you need it. Chapter 9. Let's keep the conversation going. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. But this conversation is far from over. I want to hear from you. What are your biggest parenting challenges? What tips do you have for managing stress and finding joy in the journey? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going. Outro, you're doing great. Remember, parenting is a marathon, not a sprint. There's going to be good days and bad days, moments of pure joy, and moments where you just want to hide in the pantry with a bag of chips. And that's okay. We're all in this together. So be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other, and don't forget to laugh along the way. See you next time.